Watch here. We are back out in Santa Ana. I'm a couple of blocks away from the org. Just kind of wanted to get settled into a rhythm, going horizontal. You're welcome, Fuzzy. So earlier today, we were out at the Santa Ana org. We were able to get them to close the doors, but not the blinds. So my blind tech is weak. I've been away from this too long. My strengths have softened. Howdy, Bridge. Thanks for coming back. Let's see here. It's, what, 4:45 right now here local time. This is more likely a time when people like Publix are going to come in and do course. So the hope is maybe we can see if we can find a Scientologist who wants to tell us what the great powers of Scientology are and why they're so enamored by this cult of Scientology. I remember back in Chicago that you would get the people saying, well, Scientology is great. It's great for everything. It's like, how? Does it make you taller? Does it make you prettier? What is Scientology doing for you? And nobody can really answer that question, right? It's just great, it's awesome, it's amazing, but there's no element of why Scientology is good, right? Do you think clearer? Are you a better logician? Is your math better, right? What is it about Scientology that has you coming back and spending money? Yes. Without Scientology, how could I spend my money frivolously?
Good morning, sir.
Howdy. Yes, yes. Yep. Yes, I am. Windy City Thetan Watch. So do you know the...
Hey, hold on. What are you
So Windy City Thetan Watch? If you just type in Windy City, you might get to it. Windy City.
You're live?
Yep. Yep.
How much people are watching?
We got about 10 people on right now. There's about 2,000 subscribers.
Damn.
So.
2,000 subscribers?
Yeah.
What's your content on YouTube?
Yeah. Do you know the church around the corner here?
Yeah.
Scientology?
Yeah.
I'm not happy with Scientology.
Oh.
They're a cult. If they ever come up to you, say no. Walk away. Windy City Thetan, T-H-E-T.
Windy City what?
Thetan, T-H-E-T-A-N.
Windy City.
Thetan.
Thetan?
Yep. T-H-E-A. I'm sorry. T-H-E-T-A-N.
T-H-E-A-T.
I used to have business cards. I was good about this. Is it coming up yet?
No. This one?
Yes.
Okay, show me. He doesn't like Scientology. There's a church.
So this group. So they claim to be a church, right? And there are churches that have Christian and Jesus and all of that. This place just takes your money, right? And yeah, it's 100% a cult. Thank you. Yeah. Now my work here is done. So, sounds good? All right.
I can't find it.
You guys have a good day. Take care.
Can you put it in?
Yep. I think he's got it. All right. We got one of the kids that knows it's a cult. Hey, Spock. Great seeing you. So earlier, we did a count of all the people that were in Scientology, and the number was 0. And I think that they've doubled it since then. So we're still at 0. The little car was here earlier, and I'm pretty sure that, again, I'm going to say it's a descriptive statement I'm making, not a racial statement, but there was an Asian woman who was putting her, using her phone to set the meter for this car earlier, and then they went into the organization. So they've opened the door up again. Let's see how long we can take them to close the door. Howdy. So we've got our friend here. There's new talent at the door. We'll see how long he allows the door to be open. So we didn't see this gentleman earlier. Earlier, the two doors behind him to the left, they would consistently be people going in and out of that. The shorter, I'm gonna go with she was female. She would walk in and out of there. Fairly confident, and this is, yeah. So the person that got out of this car was not disabled, but there is a disabled sticker on the car. Folks, I'm gonna cough drop in real quick. Oh, expired meters. Howdy, Super Weekend Warriors. Great to see you. Earlier today, like I said, there was nobody really in the org. We saw, I'm going to say, an adult, probably a mother, and two children go in. No idea what they were going in for. It's very possible, and somebody, again, is going to have to remind me, the sauna and niacin routine. I know that that's a course of study, but it has slipped from me what the name of that particular course is. Thank you, Purification Rundown. Howdy, Janet, great seeing you. Long time no see. Mostly my fault. Well, let's be honest, entirely my fault. So this building, again, we talked about it earlier. I'm going to go ahead and cross the street. This building is a historic landmark, and it's an old Freemasons building. If we look at it, we've got the Church of Scientology. Beautiful old, like, neoclassic building. It's got a combination of Scientology symbology on it, as well as the Masons. So the sconce lights that are just outside the front door, they still have the Masons symbology on it. And if you look just under the flagpole, there is a stone relief with the Mason or Messianic symbol. Yes, you've got the Dianetics triangle. So what is it? Communications, L Ron Hubbard Communications, something triangle. And then you've got the S with the double triangle. Oh, we've got a gentleman. We've got the door closed, right? Gentleman in the gold vest. So let's see if we can get them to close the blinds. I remember that it's what, CAS and KAS? So Scientology, come in for a tour. Thank you, Hans, for the correction. And I'll start through some of the 8 dynamics, right? Self, and then couple, right? So me and a partner, or the out 2D is the idea that you're a couple without being a couple, or you're solving couple problems by yourself. Eventually working up to the idea that the group of Scientology will save us all. right? The universe. They do have blinds, so you can see the little chain there, right? And the blinds. Earlier, look at, so to save money, they haven't even taken the packaging off the Way to Happiness pamphlets. I did not see earlier anybody doing routing, body routing. It is coming up on 5 o'clock, so we might start seeing publics, you know, who would have had to, they've got their day job, and then they might come in and do their coursework. Boy, there's a lot of loud muffler cars here. Hopefully the mic is isolating that enough for us. We'll see if this group comes by or if they head in.
I want to go to Scientology.
No, you don't. Okay, so on the way up here, I went past, I believe it was a town, Tustin, that, I'll say this, that it looks like a traditional ideal org, right? So historic building, I'm sure that some wealthy local Scientologist helped foot the bill for this, or a group of wealthy local Scientologists helped foot the bill for this building. It was purchased. And then, right, David Miscavige, I can't remember if it was the first golden age, second golden age, Larry's golden age, Fred's golden stupidity process, but his objective to subvert the works of L Ron Hubbard was that they needed to create organizations that mimicked in size and scope the St. Hill org. So that's what the ideal orgs were. So there are several missions listed on Google Maps, but the missions are all listed as closed. And as I'd mentioned in the earlier live stream, that Miscavige also was somebody who closed the missions because the missions allowed individual Scientologists to get wealthy. And then if you were a wealthy individual Scientologist, you wielded a great deal of power, cachet, whatever you want to call that. And that was cachet and money and power that David Miscavige and the central group of Scientology was not getting. Got a little TV show of here of kids on there. So Miscavige kind of went through a torrent and shut down all of the missions. I'm not sure that there's any missions that survive. Now there might still be missions in, what do they call it? The people who are, I'll say, loyal to L Ron Hubbard but not Miscavige. So they believe in Scientology tech, but they don't believe in the cult of Scientology anymore. Free something. They're the ones, they might still have missions. But the way that this used to work was the mission was the introduction to Scientology. You would, by word of mouth, you'd have a friend ask you, hey, would you like to come over and listen to some of my friends talk tonight? And you'd kind of talk in their parlor in the living room, right? It is independent Scientology, but I think that they have maybe it's freehold. I thought that there was a word that had free in it on there. But again, listen, I haven't been doing this for a while, so I'm very, very rusty. Hans, that's interesting. So on staff, you would have been one of the really 8-hour-a-day persons, not Sea Org, right? Free zone, thank you. When I was in Miami, hey Fuzz, when I was in Miami, I got commentary from somebody. Watch this gentleman, he'll keep on trying to squeeze behind the pole. Oh, he's already too far behind there, so I can't get him. But he snuck behind the pole so he wouldn't be able to see me, or that the camera wouldn't be able to see them. What was I just saying? Folks, don't get old, you're gonna forget stuff. Let's see, oh, can't remember the topic. So this looks like it's just a professional tailor, or maybe a suit company in Vittorelli, right? Italian fashion, maybe, next door. I think that the Scientology building kind of ends at the heightened portion, and where the smaller brick turns into the larger block. That's kind of the division of these two buildings. This building does have historic landmark status, so similar to Chicago. They purchased a building that they really can't do anything to. What's really a shame is they're absolutely beautiful buildings that Scientology purchases. Oh, there's a fella in gray. Oh, this might just be a serviceman. So Jerry's AC. Oh, look at the child. What, that kid's probably what, 10, 12 years old? Yeah, there's more people in here now.
How you doing?
Hey guys.
You just stand outside?
Yeah. We'll see if this person. Anything positive to share about the church?
How's it going, guys?
Very well.
Yeah, it's a great place to go. You should go in
Yeah.
it.
What has it helped you with?
Helps you with a lot.
Yeah. Are you taller?
Also the loved one.
Are you taller?
Huh?
Are you taller? What did it help you with? It made you taller?
I haven't been taller.
So when he was coming out, you could tell that the people at the desk told him not to engage with me, right? So he walks away and he's just going to tell me the things that are nice. And as I mentioned before, right, it's the idea that people are coming in here after work, doing their coursework, and spending their money at the cult. You got a little bit of Amazon delivery. Let's see. I want to see where these people. Yeah, they walk to the elevator, so they don't come all the way down here. This area of the building has remained vacant for the past 5 hours, so we've seen nothing here. Now, one thing I want to say is I don't want to. The man had mentioned that it helped him deal with the loss of a loved one. And you know what? If at the lowest levels, if at the lowest levels that's helping you, that's fine, right? I don't want anybody to suffer over the loss of their loved one. Now, do I think that it's Scientology tech that's solving that problem or that's helping them? No, not one bit. So here, oh, you can't see me because of the reflection and the glare, but there's a younger female and a very tall male. Not really sure what they're doing here.
Wait, so they're currently taking children?
So children will work for them. Children will do auditing.
What religion are you?
I'm not overly religious. When I grew up, I was a Christian minister. So I'm not anti-religious. I'm anti-cult, right? If you're doing something spiritual, if it makes you feel better, absolutely fine, right? But at the end of the day, all of these books cost money, right? If you've ever been out in public, people will, if you wanted a Bible, the church will give you a Bible. If you were Islamic or Muslim, the church would give you a Quran. You have to buy these books, right? Nothing is for free here. It's always in a class. So. So what a shame, right? That I can't tell if the one that's got her back to me is adult or not, but the one that walked away is definitely a child. And most likely rundown, right? Oh yeah, that's a child. There's 2 children there. These might be the 2 children that came in earlier today, right? So what, at around 2 o'clock, I think I started that earlier stream. And there was an adult woman and 2 children. I'm pretty sure these are the 2 children. Now, again, I don't know what the kids were here for. If it was purification rundown, keep in mind that the amount of niacin that you go through when you start moving up that scale, it's 200 times the daily recommended dosage. So it's not double the daily recommended dosage, it's 200 times the daily recommended dosage. That family is kind of congregating around the front desk right now, not sure kind of where they're headed. Anything positive to share about your church? Right, that's the other trademark of Scientology. We can't talk about Scientology. It's Fight Club, right? Yeah, sorry. Super Weekend Warriors. There's a book over here that I have never seen in other orgs. I know that this book must have existed forever. Here's the other Scientologist that came out, right? He was the one talking to the young girls earlier. Anything positive to share about your church?
Pardon me?
Anything positive to share about your church?
Yeah, there's plenty to learn about oneself and the world.
Right.
And,
That you couldn't learn in any self-help book of anywhere in the world?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a good thing to explore one's own reality.
Agreed. Do you think it gives you something that you're not getting in other possibility avenues? Like, is it? Couldn't you find this in any other self-help book, in any other Eastern philosophy, in any other Western religion?
Well, from my understanding, when L Ron Hubbard was doing a lot of his research, it was initially quite influenced by things like different.
It was very influential until the medical teams came in and realized that it was actually all fraudulent. So if you look at that, the studies, any study on any of the work that he's done, early on, his ability to heal the mental mind was like, wait, something's working here. But then they realized that it was actually a very corruptive element. And almost any medical concern is going to tell you that there's no real value to what's going on with that process. So he was very much downtrodden after he started, right? And that's why he started basically his own church, and that's why they're so anti-psychiatry, anti-leveling medications, right? So are you allowed to take medication?
Well, all I can say is I advocate anybody
I 100% agree with that.
Following the path that they feel betters oneself.
I would agree with that.
That's all I have.
Yep, no, that's fair.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
wonderful day.
You as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. And by the way, you're the first one in 5 years who's ever engaged me on a reasonable stance. I really appreciate that. You as well. He's a believer. Good on him. Oh, sorry, I wanted to come over here. And there's a book here that I had not seen in other organizations before, but just scares the bejesus out of me, right? Communication Course children's communication course. So to what was being said earlier, right? Hi. To what was being said earlier, it's not just purification rundown. There are courses for children, right? Because again, Scientology does not believe that children are children. They're adults in small bodies, right? Yes, Bach, that was rather interesting, right? That I'll say this, confront and shatter, which was the Scientology scripture, right? That confront and shatter. That's what, I used to always love Tori when she kind of woke up on this idea that, why are you corrupting L Ron Hubbard's teachings of confront and shatter, right? You believe the tech or you don't believe the tech. Now, again, I just want to call everybody's attention. I'm gonna take a loop around the building. There's more activity here than there was this morning. I'm gonna take a loop around the building and just count with me all the people that we've gotten here. So this is their entire storefront with all of the literature and their bookstore. And as we go through here, the count is still holding steady at 0. So there is nobody here, right? Scientology, the fastest growing religion on earth. Oh, look. So he won't confront and shatter. Do you notice how he ran away? He ran away. Now watch. If I go to the front door, he'll come back here. This was the old fun little event that I would have in Chicago. Right, when they couldn't come back out the front door, they'd go out the back door. You know what I think he did? He went out the alley door. I'm gonna quickly look down here. Yeah, we've just got the 2 people that were here before. Oh, here he is, right? So he's afraid to come out. Are you curious why you have to have an escort? Are you allowed to think for yourself? Isn't it curious that you can't leave the building without an escort? You need your minder to be with you. I hope you don't get sick, but OT3 is going to tell you about the galactic universe. Oh, mission time. Have you been able to get rid of your thetans? How many thetans do you still have? Notice how they'll look away from me? She can't look at me. He's wearing the gray, which is usually janitorial work, which maybe that's local RPF. Again, I am not an ex-Scientologist. But did you notice her that at all times she made sure that she had her face turned away from me? So again, that L Ron Hubbard, confront and shatter, yet none of them can confront and shatter. It's run away and hide. Now, these are also times when I'll be told that, hey, you can't stick your camera in people's faces. And you guys got all your coffee treats, huh? That I can't stick my camera in people's faces, but as you've all known for quite some time, my modus operandi is not putting my camera in people's faces. And by the way, as we came down here, there were 2 people in there, but Thank you, Super Weekend Warrior. You know what? I wish I recalled all of my knowledge. I am not OT3, so I don't have perfect recollection and perfect memory, but all of the knowledge of, right, explain PTS to me, right? Does Scientology let you talk about Scientology? Why doesn't Scientology let you talk about Scientology? What is Scientology afraid of? Oh, what is it? What are your stats this week? How are the org stats doing this week? I remember that was always one that, right? Hey, are the stats up or down this week? And stats should never go down, right? One of the things that I used to, let's say, feel good about myself at the end of the day was that when the human goes to sleep, in that last minute before they finally go to sleep, I feel like they achieve peacefulness or restfulness. And do they think about some of the things they heard that day, right? And you know, with Tori Magoo, when she was told she couldn't read certain things, that was an affront to her, right? Why can't I read certain things? Why doesn't the Church of Scientology let you talk about Scientology? Super Weekend, at what level do Scientologists start learning that there are suppressive people, right? Because the people that are on those lower courses, where they're not going down the OT path, they're really just taking the self-help classes. All right, guys. No, we love science. We don't like Scientology. Science is provable. Scientology is provably wrong. Science is fun. Science makes the world go round. All right. So this gentleman I saw earlier, one of the reasons that Scientologists don't want to be on film is A, it gets you in really bad graces with OSA, but B, many Scientologists who have had to disconnect from their non-Scientology family, their family doesn't know where they are. So the more that we're out at these organizations and we're capturing faces on film, yes, I pretended to say film, but we're finding people on film that maybe their family is going to see this, right? And their family finds out, okay, where is my surface, point of surface that I can go and re-engage with my family? Hans, you know what? There's that element that you broke free, woke up, however, whatever that term is. And again, I want to say I'm not a Scientologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a sociologist. I try to have calm, rational thinking. But that idea that you have the introspection of knowing that it's just terrible that you know all of these things, it's still helpful for the education because when we think about it, people like myself, I was never in Scientology, and I need help and coaching from ex-Scientologists so that I can possibly connect with people, right? Today was the first time in a long time that I actually engaged with a Scientologist. For the very longest time in Chicago, I really can't remember anybody except for the older woman who was probably doing mail reg. I can't remember anybody in Scientology that would take the time to talk to me, because they would get in trouble. Because, as was said earlier, I'm PTS. And you know, that was another point I kind of want to talk to there, is that my primary objective really isn't to break somebody out of Scientology. If I make them question what's going on, that's great, and maybe I'm a little bit of a chink in the armor. I take a little bit of a nick off of the marble slate that's going on there, great. But my real objective is to inform people who are being lured in by Scientology. So in Chicago, body routing was still a significant part of their recruiting mechanism. They would wander the streets in Chicago. They're in their Imprinter's Row on a street called Dearborn Street. Clark Street. So you've got Clark Street, and next to it is Dearborn Street, high residential, good foot traffic, right? There's all kinds of people walking through there, and they're out there trying to pass out those flyers. And all I would do is I would follow them around. I would let them hand off the flyer. I would then talk to the person they handed off the flyer to and explain to them what they just received. Now they might see, it might be Dianetics, it might be a personality test, it might just be the way to happiness, drug-free America, or it's not drug-free America, but they've got the anti-drug campaign. And the idea that I was able to help educate those people and forewarn them about what might occur if they were to engage further with Scientology, I wanted to kind of starve them from new recruits, right? If I get somebody to quit Scientology, excellent, right? You know, I'm never going to turn that down. It just probably isn't what I'm best suited to do. How do you guys let me pontificate like that? Were both of you staff, or was one of you public? And did you kind of meander through staff, Sea Org, public, right? Did you go through stages? Hello, Voice Down Under. Great to see you, T. Yeah, I'm going to echo what Kathy just said, right? I don't care how you got out, but I'm grateful you're out. Right? And I'm sure you're grateful you're out. And, you know, I just imagine that your eyes are like wide open at this point. Howdy, Amy. I contacted the people that you gave me a shot at, Amy. I appreciate it. It sounds like there's stuff going on tomorrow. I think there's a town meeting tomorrow, or a town council tomorrow in LA. So again, coming up to the org, beautiful old Neolithic building. It's a landmark element that's from the Masons, right? And you've got the symbology of masonry up there. Hey, Auditing Scientology, great to see you. So far tonight, I'm going to say I'm actually kind of impressed that the gentleman talked to me earlier. Right now, I'm going to say that I don't think that he could actually illustrate any actual elements that helped him in Scientology, but I'll also say this. At the lowest levels of Scientology, right, the entry point, the let me put my foot in the pool, it's a very rational self-help belief, right? That there's, you know, I've always said this, that if you read The Way to Happiness, that is not L Ron Hubbard's writings. He captured information from Western civilization, Western philosophy, Eastern civilization, Eastern philosophy, and he just captured the information and regurgitated it, right? It's all reasonable elements that are in there. So if you're taking some of those lowest level courses, it makes perfectly good sense, right? You know, follow the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? Treat kindness with kindness. Those are all really, really good things, right? And then all of a sudden, you're going to be in a walk around this pole 100 times, right? Go, do you see that door over there? Yes, that's that door over there. Great, now give me $100, right? Let's go through superpowers. Let's go through the L levels, right? Spend your tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars on this process. The thing that I would always say, right, when I was in Chicago, they're a crack dealer. The first hit's free, right? This idea that, here, try this, and your first time, it's amazing. And because you have no tolerance, it's incredibly inducing because you have no tolerance. And then you start to build up your tolerance, and you'll take more, right? You'll start to believe things like there was an ancient galactic overlord who, because of overpopulation, took all of the bad people in the galaxy, froze them as popsicles, brought them on a DC-8 to the planet Earth, which I can't remember what the name of what they called Earth at that point in time. Wow, they're very courageous. They've got windows open up there. Can somebody remind me what clear rundown is? I wonder if I just say, if I can start speaking the clear rundown vocally enough, if we can get that out to them, or up there, to there. What was I saying before that? Remind me, don't get old, folks. It's not fun. That the more you get indoctrinated into this, you start believing Galactic Overlord, and that the idea that people came as frozen popsicles on a DC-8, because in the 1950s, DC-8 was the most imaginative you can be about outer space, and they threw people in volcanoes. They followed that up with hydrogen bombs, right, and decimated them, right, and that's where all of the Thetans kind of came from. Thank you. I've been mocking up my reactive mind, and I'm not going to do it anymore. Are you mocking your reactive mind up there? All you have to do is stop mocking your reactive mind. Realize you're mocking your reactive mind and don't do it anymore. Now remember, if we think about clear, by definition, clear is you have a state of total consciousness and you have perfect recollection of everything. So, all I have to do is give you a paragraph of information and tell you to regurgitate it back to me. And when you fail, you're not clear. So there is nobody who has ever been able to prove themselves clear, right? Hey, Buttercup. Yes, that's awesome, right? If you stop Howdy. If you stop mocking your reactive mind, you can save $150,000. Just let me know and I'll let you Venmo me. These guys are kind of fiddling around with a carpet over here. I'm going to go over and kind of check out, see what's going on there. Mama Opal, how are you? So the black gentleman, descriptive statement. He doesn't seem to have any issue, right, having been seen on camera. They were over here when I was across the street, and I noticed that they were dickering around this carpet that's just inside the door quite a bit. You know what? I'm disappointed that those kids, they put a bunch of crap on the floor here. I want to kind of clean up after them. See if I can find a garbage can real quick. A question I have, and what I kind of came to as a realization over in Chicago was that the guys that were always wearing the perfect gray uniform, right? So gray Dickie slacks, gray short sleeve t-shirt, they always seem to be doing custodial work, right? Whether it was taking out garbage, sweeping the floor, whatever that is. So my expectation is that they were somehow on staff, but were they people who were in trouble? Did they do something wrong? Was that a slight form of RPF? Right? Or are there just hired people that, in service to the organization, I'm going to help clean up after these folks? Right? All right, Santa Ana, I need you to put more garbage cans out. Thank you. Estates project force. But that is punitive, correct? So they went off track in some way or another in order to get that duty. Or is it, again, is a state project force just a, I feel good about myself because I'm helping the org even in doing these menial tasks? Yeah, we've even like some of the people that we've known to be, you know, the ex-Scientologists who have larger channels. You know, unfortunately, I don't think that we really know of anybody who's less than 20 years out. But a lot of them have talked about the idea that while technically the words RPF went away, the tasks and duties of RPF did not. And I believe in similar fashion that OSA, Office of Special Affairs, that was supposed to go away as well, but it still exists. I have a couple of articles on my website, and I haven't been there in a while, but WindyCityThetanWatch.com. You can see articles, some of them about the Chicago benefactors, right? So in 2005, when they started gathering funds and deciding to charge after the Ideal Org, stories about Ellie Perkins, and that if not for the abuse and the ignorance of Scientology, does Ellie Perkins still exist, right? Does, darn it, the Clearwater woman who Scientology kind of kidnapped when she was in crisis, does she still survive if not for Scientology's neglect and abuse? And in that situation, it was not neglect, it was pure abuse, right? To be locked in a room, suffering in a mental crisis, is shameful and abysmal for an organization to do to one of its penitents, right? Howdy, Journey. You showed up in my feed the other day. It was nice to see you. Boy, I finally found a garbage can. Thank you, Lisa McPherson. Right? The Lisa McPherson story is just incredibly tragic. And, oh boy, here's stupid, forgetful Paul again. The doctor who admitted her and protected Scientology from letting her get real help, and then his daughter, who is on Real Housewives of some stupid show. Sorry if you guys enjoy those types of shows, but that's just criminal, right? And it's sad that Scientology gets away with this. As I was mentioning earlier, I watched a show yesterday about somebody who was talking about, is it the Commission's report against the U.S. government, where we've seen this woman before. So the woman in white down there, let me see if I can zip that out. Ooh, I think we might have a smoker outside. Sorry, I'm going to put this back down. That the reason, around the time that they were going for the tax-exempt status, there was a lawsuit going on, and the government, it was a female Supreme Court justice who enumerated the idea that Judaism, and I'm not anti-Judaism, but in many situations, you pay to be a member of your local Jewish temple. Additionally, I think it was the Mormons had a similar element where there was a quid pro quo, and if it's quid pro quo, it can't be. Not fans of the cult of Scientology?
No, I just see it online, so it's for everything.
Yep.
L Ron Hubbard, he's such a genius.
Yeah. If you don't believe me, ask him. Look at how creepy this book is. They have a book on how to teach children to communicate. They don't believe in children. Children are just small beings in adults in small bodies.
Wow.
So
That is.
there is nothing in this church that you can't pay for. Thank you. Take care. All right, I was distracted. I had a chance to help people. Yes, Minkoff was that one. Okay, so something I'll say about this outfit, very traditional of all of the people that I saw in Chicago. They have some snug clothing. But, oh, the woman, we saw the woman earlier, so she was at the front desk earlier. And by the way, Amy, I don't want to give any impression that I'm anti-Jewish or anything, but that was the claim at the time. And I recall earlier on, like in the Catholic Church, you used to have to pay for your pew, and it was only a dime, right, or something like that. But again, in that idea that you're paying for it, the courts said it's illegal to have a quid pro quo and be tax exempt. So the woman in white, right now, she's wearing an entirely white shirt. The first time I saw her, entirely white shirt, and then slightly later on, she did have a vest on. I did see a gold vest inside the org. Now, in Chicago, I thought that there was a color of the org, but that's apparently not true. So folks, this car just stopped. And 24-hour loading zone. Why does the church make you walk around to avoid confrontation? Don't you have the ability to confront and shatter? Wasn't that your first communication course? How to confront and shatter? Are you corrupting Scientology? Are you corrupting L Ron Hubbard's teachings? Care to share with the audience anything positive about your church? Is there anything positive about your church? Why won't the church let you talk about the church? Yeah, T, I remember seeing all those, there was a light blue, there was gold, there was silver. But again, at Chicago, I was seeing many of the different colors that were there. I can't tell if that's that direction or this direction. It might be this spot.
Yeah, it's yellow normally. That was making sure.
And by the way, Amy, I'm not, honestly, I'm not taking sides about it. I'll just say that in the commission report, that was one of the elements that was called out in the process. Not here to say that they were right, not here to say they were wrong. It was just an element or a condition of the commissions versus United States, I think. And this is right around the time of Snow White and in the tax-exempt realm. This person also, that I was listening to, had mentioned that while there were thousands of lawsuits against the IRS, there are people that think because the IRS was tied up in lawsuits, that's why they gave tax-exempt status. It's highly unlikely that that's what it is. The IRS has hundreds of thousands of lawyers, and that amount of time doesn't really show up on their radar. But he had mentioned that it really was the idea that they had more information on particular people of power, right? Again, similar to what we're hearing with the Epstein element, that blackmail is not something that Scientology is against, right? They would use whatever means possible. And if you think about it, if you're doing an audit, you're confessing all kinds of things that Scientology could use against you if you chose to leave Scientology or speak out against Scientology. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm starting to see a blue tint in my phone. There's some people walking up behind me. I just want to kind of get in front of them in case they head in. What is the PAC and SA? So, is this, I don't know if this is Scientology or if this is Masons. Howdy, mammers. So here we see self-analysis. Again, another book that I have not seen in other locations. I do see the pre-clear book. I have seen that before. I might actually have that book at home. Several anti-Scientologist people, they kind of look for auctions of Scientologists looking to sell things. That's why some people have e-meters and some people have some of the other books of Scientology. They never had any desire to be. Yeah, by the way, we are in Orange County. We're in Santa Ana. I will say again, I really, really like this town. It's an alive town. And I'll say that this organization is at best a pimple on the town. So unlike what happens in Clearwater, right, where they've staked a claim to the entire downtown, right? They basically own and run every business in that downtown area, and they continue to buy up buildings because they just don't want non-Scientology interactions. The interbulation is too great, right? They can't overcome SPs. They're clear, they have the power over everything. They can't stop me, but they have the power over everything, right? They have perfect recall and total power over all things. But they can't stand the words of people spouting the truth. So here's a vest, right? But I can't see the back of his vest, so I can't tell what color it is, right? The front of most vests is always a very dark, I would say it's close to navy, more so than black. But I think he's got a silver back, right? No, it is that light blue. So he's got that light blue back. Oh, see, this is another thing that I really love about these buildings, is that you see that beautiful stairway, and it's, you know, marble treads there. It's just a shame that these old buildings will be sequestered forever, right? It stops them from improving them or unimproving, destroying them. So the landmark status is helpful in that regard, but in reality, that landmark is so far behind scenes. So the self-analysis, is that in parallel to Dianetics? Is it pre-Dianetics, post-Dianetics? I miss all you folks. If it wasn't that I really hate Scientology expanding, I almost wish that Scientology would open up an org near me so that I could go visit them more often. And I hope you all realize that I have no desire for Scientology to expand. I have good news, folks. If you repeat yourself in this chat, somebody will kindly help you. I've always appreciated the civility and the tone of the people who have always been there to support me, and appreciate ooh, okay. I'm attending the world tour. Can somebody help me out with that? Is this ISA? Is it ISA? International Scientology? But the hey, I just spent $10,000 on this course, I'm broke, let me leave Scientology? Absolutely, as soon as you give ISA another $100,000. Who has information on what that world tour is? Please and thank you. IAS, thank you. International, oh boy. Okay. And is it listing the attendees who will be paying to be there, or is it listing the speakers that are coming from Flag? Unfortunately, I can't do anything about it, but I have an incredibly high-powered camera where I could actually get an image of all of those names. But again, since I'm visiting, I don't have all my equipment with me and I can't get back here quickly. Okay, thank you, Powerlize. And my guess is, if you're a local and you don't put your name on that list, you get side-eye from them. Oh, you know what? That's another one that I forget to tell people, or to ask people. You know, why is Danny Masterson still a Scientologist in good standing, having been put away for 30 years to life for assaulting your own members? Thank you, Journey. And thank you all. I don't always see the messages that are going on there, and as we've, well, hopefully my modus operandi is fairly well known. If I'm paying attention to somebody on the street here, I'm not really paying attention to chat, and that's when I really rely upon my mods, and I really appreciate that. Mama Opal, I haven't seen you forever. I hope you're doing great. And Fuzzy, and several other moderators. have just always been there to make sure that I feel safe when I'm out here. Yeah. And do I think that Mama Opal's going to get in her car when something bad happens to me? No. But they know how to contact people if needed. Oh, I forgot. I'm in California, and apparently California has front license plates. You kind of walk up here, there's somebody walking towards the door. I kind of want to get outside their path. Howdy. Yeah, I think that any of us who spent time on the streets, no shade on anybody who doesn't spend time on the streets, right? The idea that, you know, if we don't have an audience, it's rather challenging for us to feel good about what's going on. So please take nothing there. But almost all of us have had the police called for some frivolous reason before. Now, I think that some people have pushed the boundaries a little more than I'd be comfortable with in regards to that, but right, the most troubling day to me ever, even more so than the festival, the literary festival, was, hey J-Back, great to see you. I'm pretty sure this was all on Memorial Day. I'm not positive, but what had occurred was I went out early and I put chalk on the sidewalk. I had the police called on me. She then announced on my live stream what my name was, and then she cried to the police that I had a drone, and I took pictures of the old building in Chicago, and I took pictures of the new building in Chicago, and it didn't mean jack because I can do whatever I want to with my drone in that place. And then there were the two Eastern Europeans. We actually know the name of one of them. I think it's Olga. I would follow them to help thwart them from being able to pass out literature without informing the people that were victims in that situation of what was going on. Are you guys okay that Danny Masterson's still a member in good standing, having sexually assaulted members of your church? Oh, you're not allowed to watch the news, are you? Did you notice they gave me that look like, oh, what, are you crazy? Right? And again, it's a shameful element of society that, big deal, so some women were assaulted. Suck it up, folks. Right? As we look up, right, we can see that there's a couple of windows up here that are open. If you're still mocking your own reality, all you have to do is stop, and you'll become clear. Take care, Power Lies. Power Lies. Take care, puppy. You know, I'm going to say that one of the things that I find most offensive about that last reaction is that as a church penitent, and I'm being very, very liberal with the idea of church, that understanding that one of your own assaulted one of your own, is in prison, has been found guilty by a jury of peers, and you just want to shake it off like that? Like, hey, no biggie, right? Danny, he's our guy, right? I don't know if I've heard Gerson family, but I do. There are some people that were early members and subscribers to my channel who were also members of powerful California families in that space. And there are, by the way, Scientology at its highest echelon is full of wealthy, powerful people, right? And they will claim that it's because of Scientology, and my statement will always be, it's in spite of Scientology. But there are so many incredibly powerful families in Scientology, and they're, let's see, under the radar is a bad term to use because we use that for something else, but the idea that they're not overly public about their Scientology ties. They're just very wealthy people who practice Scientology and have chosen to, go up the bridge for whatever that is. I miss Serge and Serge is on the channel once, and by the way, Serge is always a live wire, right? And Michael as well. That they are a bookend couple, right? The idea that he is so calm and reserved and measured in that process, right? All right, at 6 o'clock, we've still got people coming into the org. I think that back in Chicago, it would kind of be from 7 to 10. Yeah, I can't remember, is the 13th his birthday, or is the 13th Dianetics? I think March 13th is the birthday, right? There's an awful lot of private security in the area here, and I don't know, I know I'm by a courthouse. Is this also a place where there's like a county jail or something of that nature? Thank you, Spock. All right, folks, the the phone battery is just about burned up on me. I think I need to call this to a close. I really appreciate everybody being here. I might try and get out again Thursday night. Tomorrow I'm pretty well booked. I don't think that I'll have a chance to be able to come out either here or to LA. But to me, we've unlocked a new org. beautiful building. And again, I say that the building existed far before Scientology, well, actually before Scientology existed, but also before Scientology occupied it. Hey, you know what? I miss being out here. I miss, when I was in Chicago, I missed the idea that I could go to the org almost on a daily basis. And that every time I went to the org, I could get those blinds shut and I could keep those body routers inside. Now, eventually they got to the point where they started using cars, and it turns out that while I could run fairly quickly, I could keep up with anybody on foot. I still haven't figured out how to keep up with cars. So, but I felt productive in what I was doing there, and I really appreciated all of the other people there. Before, let's say, the community decided that they wanted to point at one another. Yeah, I remember walking into businesses where Scientology had left their literature and letting them know why not to allow Scientology to do that, help educate them on what was going on. I remember that they went into Dearborn Station and left flyers on the table there. I was able to kind of sweep those up. I snatched as many as I could. So, and I echo that. Fuzzy, thank you. J-Bat, Mama Opal. Haven't seen Nance in a while. But you've all been very helpful and supportive to me and helped me keep my eye on the ball when I'm out here on the street. Help engage the audience if I can't. As I said last night, Clearwater is quite a bit of a drive for me. It takes me about 4 hours to get over there. So I have family over there. If I go over for the weekend, it makes a little bit better sense. But I'll also say that I much prefer, and again, no shade on the way that people protest. Protesting is protesting. I much prefer Erica's mode of operations in the idea of, I just want to be out there and I want to inform people. And every once in a while, today, the kids, helping the kids understand what's going on in Scientology. There were the 3 people that came by, and I was able to show them, hey, look at this creepy book here, and this is what Scientology offers. No, don't wait. Wait. Yes, you should wait. I would rather be at Ybor City, or I would rather be down in the restaurant district of Clearwater. I didn't really feel comfortable. Again, I like the idea that people are having fun outside of Scientology. Oh, antics! You probably got you got deleted by Fuzzy. No, that anytime that you can show Scientologists that people are enjoying themselves, and I do think that it's a bit of a party atmosphere that's out in front of that, that's great. And if that's the protest style you want to adopt, it's excellent. It does bring awareness. My style has always been, I want to stop the next Scientologist from starting, right? I'm probably not going to get Scientologists to quit Scientology, but I feel very confident, and you've seen me engage with people who went inside and got into the clutches of Jessica, or at Duncan, right, the young, tall black male that when I met him at Duncan and said, hey, yeah, I met this cute girl inside. Was it Jessica? Yes, right? And then he came back and talked to me and said, wow, thank you very much. The the time where Jessica escorted somebody away from the building so that they wouldn't have to listen to me. But as I was talking to him, he was listening. And about 3 weeks later, he messaged on that same video saying, hey, I'm the guy at 3 minutes. And I just want you to know I didn't join because of you, right? And if I never do anything else related to Scientology, I'm gonna call it a win, right? I've done more than most, and I'm happy about that. All right, I'm done bragging about myself. How are all you guys doing tonight? Yeah, Journey, Clearwater is an incredibly, to me, it's an incredibly dangerous place that, to my recollection, that's where Serge spent a lot of his time, in the hotels, auditing people, right next to the massage table, because anytime you're having a conversation with somebody, there should be a massage table there, right? And zippers darn, drop those zippers. We need you to be nice and relaxed, right? So, hey Dusty, how are you? That the idea that it's the core of Scientology, and you know, as most Scientologists and ex-Scientologists will tell you, it's the only place that makes money, because it's the only place that you can take those upper levels, and there are enough people that are going down there and they're staying in the hotels, so they're paying the rents to stay there. They're paying the cost of the courses to stay there. They paid all of the courses to be there. I'm sure they're being asked to donate money when they're there. So Clearwater, if there is the Clearwater, there's probably no Scientology. Thank you, Antics. I appreciate that. I'm going to try and get a hold of her. Dusty, how are you? I hope that the business of shirting is going well. The dyes of tie. Boy, once you leave downtown Santa Ana, it becomes neighborhood fairly quickly. And Dusty's part of that crew that is out in front of the organization, having a great time, many Friday nights, showing Scientology that there are people that enjoy themselves outside of the cult. Right? Yeah, my understanding, right, so LA sprawls more than most because my recollection is there's really not too much that's tall in LA. Like New York has tall, Chicago has tall, and while they'll sprawl, they have a focused central area. Like, I'm in Irvine this week, and Irvine is an hour away from Hollywood, but I still feel like you could walk on the rooftop of houses from Irvine all the way to LA, right? By the way, it's probably not a good idea to walk on the rooftops of houses, but if you wanted to, you could. Sorry, I noticed there was a car kind of creeping up on me. All right, folks, my phone's not going to last much longer. I need to get back to the hotel. I really appreciate this. I'm going to check my email for Laura's number to see if I can get a hold of her. If there's a way that I can get downtown on Thursday and still get back to the airport, I really do kind of want to, just get a lay of the land. I haven't ever been to LA. I've been to Hollywood, not since I've known of the structures of, hey, Dusty, I don't love you. I just like you an awful lot, just to be clear. That, you know, probably 10 years ago, I was in Hollywood and just being a tourist there, didn't really know Scientology. Now, I ran past the Celebrity Center all the time, but I didn't know all of those other buildings were there in LA. So, folks, I had a fun day. Again, I miss doing this. I miss the civil chats, the discussions, you correcting me, Fuzzy fact-checking me. It's all been a great time. I hope you have a great night. Not sure if we actually transition to other streams anymore, or if we're all eating our young these days, but thank you very much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it, and I will talk to you between now and July.